Good morning and welcome to St. John's Everyday. Our verse today comes from Matthew chapter 5, verse 3, where we read these words: "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs." The poor in spirit. What did Jesus mean at the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount when he uses that phrase? Now, the classic evangelical interpretation is that Jesus is talking about those who are spiritually poor. And in some ways, that's right. Poverty takes many different forms. And there are those who are spiritually poor. And when Jesus talks about blessing them, he's talking about them knowing their need of God, and that in realizing their need of God, they will be blessed. However, Scripture doesn't let us off that easily. Certainly if you look in the translation of this in Luke's Gospel, but even here, the word that is used for poor is poor. It's actually about the poorest of the poor. So what's happening here? What is Jesus saying to us as Christians here? Someone once described the Sermon on the Mount, where we find the Beatitudes at the beginning, as Jesus' manifesto. Jesus is setting out his stall, and right at the very beginning, he puts the poor at the center of things. Because certainly then, and even in some quarters in our own society today, the poor have no place in the kingdom of heaven. Their poverty is seen as God's damnation on them. And Jesus makes it quite clear there is nothing in his thinking, in God's thinking, that sees things that way. Jesus, throughout his ministry, puts the poor first. He reaches out to them with compassion. He provides for them by bringing healing. And again, this is a massive challenge to us as a church. What part, what place is there for the poor in God's kingdom here on earth as well as in heaven? Certainly something for us to think about as we respond to the poor and the marginalized around us. Pray about this today. But more than pray, think, how can we respond? How can you respond? How can I respond to the poor, who in Jesus' eye are right at the center of God's kingdom, our ministry, everything that we're about? I pray that God will bless you today, wherever you are and whatever you're facing. Bye for now.